Welcome back to Stillwater, Oklahoma, and halftime of our game between Texas Tech and Oklahoma State here at the new Neil Patterson Stadium. Well, just a short ways away, tomorrow at Boone Pickens Stadium, Oklahoma State football will host Iowa State. The Cowboys are led by their star running back, Justice Hill, who does so much more than just play football. Welcome back to the campus of Oklahoma State University. We have no score here in our soccer game between Texas Tech and the Oklahoma State Cowgirls, but I am joined now by the head men's basketball coach, Mike Boynton, Coach Mike, and you're here at a soccer game, a women's soccer game, and I hear that you really enjoy supporting this team. What is it about this team that you enjoy supporting so much?
Well, I don't think I've missed a home match. I'm not always able to stay the whole time, but I really enjoy coming out and supporting all of our student athletes. These girls work really hard. I see them around campus or in the weight room training. And, they're reigning Big 12 champions. So I want some of that to rub off on me. And what Coach Collins doing with this program is phenomenal. And to see the stadium that they've been able to perform in here this season has been really amazing. And the crowds that have showed up for them have been really amazing as well.
You were an assistant coach before being elevated to the head coaching position last year, but we also know that you've not only come out to the game to support the games, but you've actually been banging on the drums a little bit and getting very active with the students. Why do you think that's so important?
Well, I tell the kids all the time that, this should be a really, really fun experience for these student athletes. And so as much as I can engage with them, it was one of the most fun times of my life being a student athlete. I want them to know that, hey, I'm not above anybody. I want to be out here and support them. We pull for all our teams. All the coaches here support each other. So it's awesome to get out here and mix with the students on campus. And I certainly look forward to seeing them in Gallagher Arena in about a month.
Yeah, exactly. And that's coming up very quickly. Now, last year, you came in your first year, tied the school record for home wins with 15 home wins. You swept Kansas, the perennial champion in the Big 12 Conference. So what can people expect this year when they watch the Cowboys play?
Well, they can expect different guys to be in the uniforms. We have 8 guys who didn't play for us last year, but they'll see the same brand of basketball. A bunch of guys that go out there and try to be the hardest playing team on the court. And we're going to compete very hard for the name on the front of our jerseys. We know we represent a really traditionally great basketball program, and we're excited every time we get to take the floor with those uniforms on. So we're going to play really hard. We're going to play with a lot of energy and passion. We're going to play a brand of basketball that our fans can really get behind and support.
You get to go to Italy and Greece this summer. I mean, that kind of experience for your student athletes with all those new players, how do you think that'll impact the year?
We can already see we're about a week into practice now, and we're already probably several practices ahead because we had a lot of time this summer spending with each other. So I just see it kind of gave us a jump start into integrating these new guys in with some of the returners that we do have. Really going to give us a chance to have more chemistry early on in the season, which is something you struggle with when you start practice in October. But we had 10 practices in June and July to get ourselves ahead. So I can see just the maturity of our team coming along, and the guys are really, really working well together so far.
All right, put on your coaching hat, Coach Mike. What do the Cowgirls need to do here in the second half?
Well, they got to score a goal to win. I know that. Other than that, I don't know anything. I know we got to score to win, and we got to find a way to get the ball into the goal. But Coach Collins got that covered. I try not to get involved other than supporting any other sports.
We appreciate your time. Mike Boynton, the head coach for the men's basketball program. We'll be back after this.
In the Big 12, it's not just about athletics. It's about an all-encompassing spirit and an alliance of unlimited possibilities, representing some of the best in the nation with innovative research, solutions to global issues, and scholastic achievements. It's about the robust economic influence each institution has in their community, unsurpassed athletics and academics.
No score here in Stillwater, Oklahoma in this Big 12 soccer match, but along with Jessica Stamp, I'm Brenda Vendling, and this a little breakdown of the stats from the first period.
Yeah, Texas Tech came out really hard in the beginning minutes of the first half, and they got 8 shots total, which is really good against Oklahoma State, but then it seemed to peter out a little bit, so they need to find those legs again, come out really tough, and try and get a goal across early here in these few minutes. But Oklahoma State's got a bit of an issue, not too many shots on goal. They need to find Woodard the ball a lot more and then push up and help her so that the ball stays contained on the Texas Tech defensive third.
And in the Big 12 Conference, there's a Friday night game and then a Sunday night game, and you talked about the fact that there wasn't as much energy maybe toward the end of the first period, but this is the first game. This is the game they're supposed to have the energy in this weekend. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I thought Oklahoma State was going to come out today and just be a totally different team than what we saw last Sunday, because they just seemed a bit flat against Oklahoma, a little tired and just kind of spent, and that's going to happen at this point in the season. It is a tough, emotional, physical grind at this point. I was just thinking about how the pro leagues don't have games, 2 games on a weekend and then 2 games on the next weekend, and they have so much more time, and it seems like these college players are really having to stretch themselves. So I understand that it's a really tough grind at this point, but this is what you play for, our Friday nights under your stadium lights at home. So hopefully Oklahoma State's going to bring it a bit more this half in terms of the intensity. So we're starting over on the second half here. Scoreboard still says first half, but everybody in the stands knows that it is the second half. Cowgirls again in their black uniforms here at home at Neil Patterson Stadium. The Red Raiders in their red jerseys. As we talked to both coaches, and we appreciate their time this week as we prepared for these broadcasts, but Colin Carmichael, the head coach here at Oklahoma State, when you ask him, what did you address this week in practice after you lost that game to Oklahoma, he said we really talked about being tougher to score on. And we felt like we didn't have the energy level or the mentality that we needed in Norman, and we need to fight through that. Now we're coming home on Friday, and that brings its own energy, so I'm sure that's something that he talked about in the locker room. Well, I think at this level, a lot of the skill sets are very similar, and we've talked about kind of the ability for both these teams to keep the ball, and they have talented front runners, but the intangibles, the ability to get up for big games, the ability to rise up when a team needs you if something happens like an injury to Zoller. So it's the intangibles that tend to determine which team's going to come out with that 1-goal victory here in these close games. So that did seem to be a point of emphasis by Coach Colin Carmichael this week with his team is, yeah, we're good, but you still have to play really hard and still have to match their intensity. Otherwise, you're not gonna win, because every team is good in this league. You mentioned Woodard, the leader for Oklahoma State. They need to get the ball to her more, but we also mentioned at the open of this game the importance of Marlo Zoller, the fact that she often, because the attention on Woodard, got some attention herself. Well, she went down with an injury in the first half, so you have to wonder how much that impacts how much Woodard is being covered. Right, in the first half, she just twisted her ankle really bad in this tackle in the middle. She's just trying to add pressure to the ball, and she landed on the Texas Tech player's foot there in the middle and just twisted it. So disappointing loss for Oklahoma State, but it looks like they're pushing J.C. Jones up a little bit higher here on this right side to kind of fill that Zoller position. Right, and how much do they miss Zoller? Well, there's a look there at J.C. Jones that you just mentioned that is being pushed up, but Zoller was the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week the first week of conference play. She had game-winning goals against both Kansas State and Kansas that first week of play, so that's the kind of goal scorer that Oklahoma State is missing with that injury to Marlo Zoller. Chasing it down, Kirsten Davis, who does not seem to lose any energy, constantly sprinting on the pitch. Pushing ahead to Jade King, and Oklahoma State's really defended Jade King well.
Yeah, again, they're just so tight on her. She's not able to pop loose, and I think that's why Davis here has had some successes. When she's being defended tight, she actually spins off of her defenders and then just rips a shot on goal. So she's much more comfortable back to pressure, getting the ball and spinning it. But Jade King's being bumped around quite a bit, and especially Kim Rodriguez there in the back for Oklahoma State has been all over her and just not allowing her to pop loose. Well, and Brenda, something we didn't talk about when you were saying that King is up top, she's actually without her counterpart, which is Allie Griffin up top. So we've been talking about Zoller and Woodard as a great pair up top, but Jade King and Allie Griffin have been playing up top together all season long and doing really well as a tandem up there. But Allie Griffin suffered an injury and she's been sat out so far this match, so not sure they're gonna have her up top either.
She can have some help.
So both teams dealing with injuries, and a lot of teams this time of year with the grind of the season, that's going to be an issue.
It's really been the story here with Texas Tech, as they've just been all over Oklahoma State when they're around the box, double teaming when they can, and just getting pressure immediately to the ball so there's not a whole lot of space.
Good look there at Brooke Denisick, the senior out of Anthem, Arizona.
Good too.
And coming out to retrieve it, Marissa Zucchetto. On the other end, in the other goal, Danny Greenlee, number 4, back on the pitch here in the second period. We didn't know if we would see Hannah Warner, who she split time with, because she had an injury, so it looks like Warner may still not be available.
What do you see? You got Haley in the channel. And again.
Webb can't get to it. There's Davis. And the steal by Yoakum.
Go forward, kiddo. Hey, go that way.
Woodard to throw it in. Waiting for her teammates to be organized.
Hey, hey. Ellie, Gabby.
Unusual to see a bad throw being called at the college soccer game, but when it's so close to you, it's hard to get that motion down completely. But here's King now with a little bit of space, which she hasn't had, and you can see how she's trying to beat her and take a shot off. She just hasn't had that kind of space.
Out to Teeter. Teeter double teamed, tries to keep it alive.
Come on, come on.
And it will be a throw in for Texas Tech.
You coming?
And some subs coming in for the Red Raiders. Gabby Puente, number 18, as well as number 11. There is Allie Griffin, who we said had not played, and you were concerned, but she's getting her first appearance in this game now.
Well, and she's without the leg wrap that she had on last weekend on that thigh, so that's also a good sign.
Yeah, in the Baylor game, she didn't play much. She played about 30 minutes, and then they didn't put her back in. They did not know if she would be available, so now with under 38 minutes to go in this second period, we'll have to see what kind of impact she has on the attack for Texas Tech. A sophomore out of Southlake, Texas.
Cowgirl fans, when Robert Venice come by the market,
difficult to say for sure, but maybe still running a little gingerly. She is a great goal scorer. Very hard to handle, has 3 goals on the year. Still no score.
Good shot.
What do you see?
And both teams did end in a tie in their matches last Friday. Both lost on Sunday. Nifty move there and a serve across, and right in place was Zucchetto.
Here again is J.C. Jones doing a little nutmeg, some craftiness already in this game so far from Jones. when she gets the ball in that midfield. And again, playing a little bit higher maybe than normal with Zoller out, but just can't quite connect, it seems, Oklahoma State on that final pass to get a clear shot off on goal.
Bodies crashing together
Touch the ball, ref!
as Cowgirls come away with it.
Referee, she's got to touch the ball.
There's
Gabby,
Woodard.
Go, Gabby, gotta go, Gabby! That's a foul, too.
It'll be Texas Tech ball.
She was on earlier. Go ahead and play a little sooner. Jade, just stay faced up when Duke's got the ball. She'll give it to you. Allie, find the
So
game.
Woodard
Find the
comes
game.
up limping a little bit. You mentioned Marlo Zoller, injured in the first period.
What did I do?
And when these two met last year in Lubbock, Zoller was the only one that scored. It ended in a 1-0 victory for Oklahoma State on the road as they went on to win the Big 12 regular season title. And Zoller scored the only goal of that game. Haley Woodard actually didn't play in that game last year because she had the flu, so Marlo Zoller had to pick up the slack. So now it's Zoller that's out of this game and Woodard needing to pick up the slack for the home team this time, Oklahoma State. The fans here have packed this beautiful new stadium in Stillwater and just waiting for something to happen. Neil Patterson Stadium, just a gorgeous facility, excellent amenities for the fans, beautiful field. It's a beautiful night. Here's a well into the 80s at the start of the game, but it has cooled off, a nice breeze still blowing out of the south. Here comes Woodard.
Charlotte, pass her on.
Fans just waiting across all the way to the opposite side. Webb ahead to Yoakum, who crossed it into the box and then cleared out of danger. The Red Raiders send it over the halfway line.
Oh my gosh, that's what you're there for. You're looking right at it. She trapped it with her forearm.
Boy, Griffin just being in the game changes. You could see the Cowgirls going to need to get the ball away from her. Don't want her to allow her to get a steal. On the left side and stolen away.
So it's a little bit more end-to-end now. So it's starting to open up quite a bit here in the second half. They're starting to send a lot more long balls and trying to push it forward. And you see here Woodard trying to be physical on the ball, create herself a little bit of space, and then send it inside across the field to get some more space. But really, it's the Texas Tech defense that, look, their line is perfectly straight there in the back. They're all shifting back together. They're staying tight so that there's not a lot of space in there for runners to kind of find these channels to run inside the box.
Good look there at Jade King, the junior out of Apple Valley, Minnesota, leads Texas Tech with 6 goals on the season. There she turns, and a good defensive play, but it will be a corner kick for Texas Tech.
Well, it was Kim Rodriguez again on that side. Slide tackling to deflect it out, so no cross came across.
Number 4, Charlotte Teeter.
21! 21!
In and back. And another corner. Directing traffic in front of her, Danny Greenlee. Again, just a short pass. Griffin. Was she?
Looks like he's gonna mark it just outside the box here. Battling for the ball here, and It wasn't your hands, though. It's your feet that got her.
but just outside of the penalty area, if she would have done that inside, that's a whole different set of circumstances.
This is kind of an interesting spot. You don't get a lot of kicks from this spot. So the question is, do you do something like that where you slip it to someone and then try and rip a shot on goal, or do you send it in like a corner, but it's a shorter chip into the box? So they decided to try and drive it and kick it in. It seems like the MO for Texas Tech on these set pieces is, instead of just sending in a 50-50 ball, let's find someone.
Here's Woodard. And the tackle made by Texas Tech to stop the run. And Woodard very slow to get up.
Jane today. Slow.
Walking very gingerly in the back half of the field.
Out again. No, Ali.
Cowgirls coming again.
Check your shoulder, Gwynny. Check your shoulder. Good. Okay, drop down 6 here.
And the fact that Woodard is kind of not quite ready to go has forced Oklahoma State to possess the ball a bit more. So I think maybe they're forcing it to her just a little bit too much. And like I said, in the first half, you want to find her. You do want to find her as much as possible, but you don't want to force it. You want to kind of be patient, take your opportunities to where she has some space. But the truth is Woodard is dangerous when she's isolated. So a lot of times you don't want forwards isolated all by themselves up top. But if you can isolate Woodard up top with 1 or 2 players, she's super dangerous. But just this tackle is a nice tackle by Texas Tech's Wickenheiser in the back there. She gets all ball. And they've been doing a good job of just reading the ball. But unfortunately, it clipped Woodard's foot a little bit, so she's still recovering.
So it's not a foul because the defender got to the ball first.
Correct, yeah. So that's what they've been doing so well, Texas Tech, is they've been being physical, but in a smart kind of way. They're reading, they're dropping.
Into the box. A lot of action there in the middle, and Oklahoma State able to clear away from danger. There's Woodard. Seems to be running a little better now, a little more smoothly, as you see her at the very far right of your screen.
Come on, yo!
Yoakum, the freshman, the highly touted freshman, attacking right down the middle, going to be aggressive with it, into the box, double teamed. And nothing there.
I like that from Yoakum. That dribbling just opened up all the space for the other players making these runs, and she decided to keep it, which was smart because they were all tracking where Woodard was going.
Charlotte! Player feet! Jake King!
So here's Yoakum on the ball, penetrating up the middle, and she just keeps going and taking her space. And she's looking up for the pass, but they're all sucking to those players instead, so she tries to go herself there. But again, at the last moment, Texas Tech so good at double teaming, getting bodies in front of the ball, so we've had lots of blocked shots tonight.
Now there's an injured player down on the pitch, so the Oklahoma State players coming over to talk to Colin Carmichael. We just saw the dribbling prowess of Grace Yoakum. She went to Memorial High School in Houston, Texas, and she led Memorial to a state championship. She was all USA girls 3rd team and the Houston Chronicles all Greater Houston Soccer Player of the Year. And in addition, pretty good basketball player as well. So already making an impact here as a freshman. Started 12 of the 13 games that she's played in here for Oklahoma State and has scored 3 goals on the year.
She does a really good job of getting forward. She got forward quite a bit last weekend in their matches to help out on offense. She's also really good on set pieces. So a very dynamic player in the midfield. Again, just a freshman, but even tonight hasn't really played like a freshman. She's been doing a great job of helping defensively. And I think if she can get more, just a little bit more like she did there and help out Woodard a bit more, they'll be able to keep it on that end.
Kirsten Siragusa, slow to get up. Happened out of our view, so we don't know exactly what happened, but walking over on her own power off the pitch. Clock is stopped. May have happened on a header. Let's try to take a look back, see if we can see what happened.
So maybe landed a little bit awkwardly, but Saragusa has been really good tonight, along with Rodriguez and Elise Hahn on that back line. So that's a big loss, especially because she's the organizer as that center back in the central defense. Saragusa is going into the locker room here to be checked out, but that's a huge loss for Oklahoma State.
Claire Ganser there, and 29, Rachel Van Fossen into the game. Thanks for joining us here in Stillwater for Big 12 Soccer, along with Jessica Stamp. I'm Brenda Van Lingen. I mentioned that the temperature had dropped a little, at least it has for us. It's cool up here in the stands, but it's still 82 degrees here in Stillwater at 7:30 in the evening. So you saw when the players came over the side of the field, pouring water back on the back of their necks, as Greenlee there to scoop that attempt up. Still no score here with 27:44 to play.
There's two there. There's two there. Hey, Jay,
and this is a team, Jessica, in Oklahoma State that led the Big 12 in offense last year, had a lot of firepower, and there's a lot of the same components back this year, but we're seeing a good defensive effort from Texas Tech and just maybe not the explosiveness from Oklahoma State?
Yeah, I think this year Oklahoma State's production has fallen off a little bit from last year. And now people know Haley Woodard. Now people know about her. The teams are going to prepare for her. So it's a little bit more predictable in terms of her abilities. And she's having to deal with double teams all the time, those types of things. But I think you're right. The star of tonight's game has been the defense on both teams, really. They've both been very solid in around the box, limiting any kind of opportunities on net. Lots of block shots tonight. Not a whole lot for Greenlee here and Zucchetto to do in terms of making big saves.
Yeah, there haven't been any that kind of took your breath away that you thought really had a chance.
Second ball, Gabby, second ball. Read that. Warm up. Help us on. Allie right here.
Last year, Texas Tech advanced to their 5th NCAA championship in a row. Finished the season 9-7-3. And a good opportunity here now with King and Griffin out front. King with a shot just wide. Boy, she had an open net there to the right side and just missed.
And you heard Coach Tom Stone saying, runner, you can beat her, because King has so much speed. So she just takes a few quick little touches and then sets herself up on that left foot and really just curls it a little bit too much to that right side as she got the outside of the ball there.
And you've been talking all night how the defense for Oklahoma State has really been physical with her. They were giving chase that time. Griffin takes a shot, goes wide left. But you see now Griffin and King working together a little more aggressively for the Red Raiders.
It does seem that since Griffin's come in, it's give King a little bit of a boost as well. And again, with Griffin running around and kind of opening up space and pulling defenders with her, it opens things up for King as it did there. And again, Oklahoma State just doesn't want King to get turned and faced up like that. So they need to bump her, be touch tight on someone who's fast and good with their feet.
Yes, take it. Come on, Jay.
Griffin battling. Popping it ahead. Lydiate to King.
So that's more of what you want to do with King there. Is Rodriguez was so touch tight that it just didn't even allow King to get the ball and hold on to the ball or turn and face up, kind of bumping her and making the ball go backwards.
And that's what we saw the Cowgirls doing more in the first period.
Dangerous play! Tight!
Lydiate.
There you go, Jay.
Playing it back.
Charlotte, stop moving and you'll be open. Keep moving and you won't be open.
Sending ahead.
Back inside.
King back to get it. Pushes ahead to Griffin. Griffin with an opportunity. Oh, she crosses over and goes to the pitch. And it will be a penalty, yes. Griffin received a great touch pass from King, and then the penalty committed by the goalkeeper.
Great awareness here to find Griffin in behind. Great touch, too, by Griffin to get a hold of that ball before Greenlee. And just bad timing because Greenlee got there just a little bit too late, and it clipped Griffin's feet. And now we've got a PK situation.
You're wrong.
So we've talked about how Allie Griffin coming into the game here in the second period didn't know if she would be available. She's changed the tone of the game, and she has the opportunity now with the penalty kick to score the first goal of the game, and she does. Goal, Texas Tech. They go up 1-0. Allie Griffin, the sophomore, with her 4th goal of the season.
And this is, if you're wanting to learn how to take a penalty kick, this is the video to watch right here. It's low, driven hard into the corner. Even if Greenlee had guessed the right direction, that would be difficult to stop. But you're right, Griffin coming into this match has really changed the tone of it. And I'm just really impressed with the sophistication of Jade King there to slip it into Griffin behind instead of just ripping a shot from outside the 18, but seeing that run Griffin made and just slipping her there. So that was the creation of that penalty kick opportunity, was King just having that maturity to slip her in and have a better opportunity on goal than she might have had outside the box.
And here they are again. King and Griffin putting pressure on that Cowgirl defense. Cowgirls clearing out of danger.
Get another goal!
Over the sideline, though. It's a throw-in for the Red Raiders. The Red Raiders continuing to put pressure on this Cowgirl defense on their home field.
Jade King, that is awesome! Let's go!
And that penalty kick driven in by Allie Griffin, the sophomore, to give the Red Raiders the lead. Texas Tech in the last 6 years against Oklahoma State have either lost by just 1 goal or tied them over the last 6 seasons. They've been very close matches, but Texas Tech has not won in that time.
Charlotte, stay inside!
So this 5 minutes, especially after a goal is scored, is very interesting for both these teams, because a lot of times teams will get very up after a goal is scored. So both these teams need to match that bit of high energy that's kind of reinvigorating them right now and not let down, because this is a time when a lot of times teams will make mistakes after a goal is scored.
Under 22 minutes left to play here in Stillwater. Both teams coming off a loss last Sunday. Oklahoma State lost to Oklahoma. Tech had lost to Baylor 2-0. So an entire week to rest and prepare for this game on Friday night.
Charlotte, stay with her!
Cowgirls
No foul, Brooks. She wants you to foul her.
looking for the equalizer. What will they do to ramp it up here in the attacking third?
Go forward! Active!
Jade King, where can you be to get the ball? Hey,
On the left
Charlotte,
flank,
here's
serving it
one.
into the box. Woodard there with the header, and just able to get the save, Zucchetto. And Woodard comes up limping again, maybe even holding her head a little bit. She was injured earlier in this period.
Maybe not just not enough on it there to get it into the corner of the net, as Zucchetto had that covered. But Oklahoma State doing a good job of changing the point of the attack. J.C. Jones had it on this right side and switched it all the way across to the other side of the field so that they could get across into the box to Woodard.
Shots on goal, even. Texas Tech with a 1-0 lead due to that penalty kick.
Keep it wide, keep it wide.
Completed by Allie Griffin.
Take her, Jane! Take her, Jane! To the space!
King.
To the space! No, that's
King with her outstanding footwork plays it ahead again. It was that through ball she had, and Griffin at the end of the run who had a good look at it and then was fouled by the goalkeeper that set up the penalty kick. And the 1-0 lead for the Red Raiders here on the road.
Come on, come on.
Hiya, Kimmy! Hiya, Kimmy!
King, you can't get the ball there! Come on, Jimmy.
Tuck in, Allie!
Wide. Ali! Gotta hold it, gotta hold it!
Put her head down.
Don't lose it, don't lose it!
Keep it, Ali, guys. Easy. Hey, press Charlotte!
Some good bit of possession there from Texas Tech, but they're not going to look to just keep it. Coach Stones talked about how you need more goals. We need more goals. You've got to extend the lead a bit. You can't sit on this 1-goal lead for 20 minutes and expect to get out of here. So while they do want to keep the ball, they still have some urgency to get forward with it and try and get another one.
Red Raiders have won 9 games, 9 matches already this year. Their only losses are at Boston College, at home against West Virginia, and then last Sunday at home against Baylor.
Get it, dude! Right on! Charlotte, sit in here. Look, run out over the ball. That's fine, that's fine. Kirsten, you get them down for them. Neither of them can make that run. That's fine, bro.
The last 6 meetings between these two teams have either been decided by 1 goal, and Oklahoma State winning all of those, or they've been a draw.
Hey, Charlotte, get organized.
Well, and Tech knows better than anybody how things can just change in an instant. As they saw last year with Zoller getting an opportunity in the game that it seemed like was going against the run of play. It seemed like Tech was having a lot of the possession of the time and was doing well to get opportunities, and then all of a sudden a goal. So they know that a set piece can be a difference maker, or a giveaway, a mistake. So just in a blink of an eye, it can change the face of this game with Oklahoma State being so dangerous.
Jay, how can you help us? Just in case. Double, Charlotte! Double! Hey! Dribble! Right on! We can't lose it! Good.
They got Kimmy. Together!
That's big time, Charlotte. Oh, we're off to the side. Easy. Man on!
Crowd getting a little antsy here as Oklahoma State needs to find the back of the net.
Hey.
Oklahoma State head coach Colin Carmichael talked to us about the fact that this Texas Tech team, very technically sound, very good possession team. And with King and Griffin at the front, have been very aggressive here in the second period. That one cleanly taken away by Oklahoma State, and then the foul called on King. Elise Hahn with the free kick. And a yellow card for King.
He kept telling them to move back, but she wouldn't move back.
Yeah, you're not allowed to encroach on the ball like that within 10 yards. So especially if the ref tells you you need to stay put, don't move forward. That type of encroachment will get you a yellow card. And remember, these players have to be careful, the ones that are sitting on the yellow cards, because if they get another yellow card, then they're going to be down a player for the game. So they got to play smart again, level-headed out there on the field, especially up 1-0 for Tech.
Jen Rose, a freshman for Texas Tech, received a yellow card in the first period when she subbed into the game. This is the second yellow card issued of the night, this time to Jade King, and she is an awfully valuable player for Texas Tech. Doesn't want to get into trouble. Now she's being subbed out. There is the rule she can re-enter here in the second period.
You're good. Behind him.
And they play it back through Zucchetto.
Forward!
And that's a weapon that not every team has the luxury. Tom Stone really likes the fact they can play through Zucchetto.
Behind. Don't stand and look at it. Come on. Can't be tired there.
Well, a lot of that possession and that tempo you establish starts from the back front. So if you can have your keeper as part of that back line that swings the ball around and gets that momentum going, that's really important for a team that's possession-oriented like Texas Tech.
And Kirsten Siragusa back into the game after that injury earlier. In case you missed the only goal of the game, it was on a penalty kick earlier by Allie Griffin at the 23:44 mark to go here in the second period. Woodard, who's been banged up a couple of times in this game, has it there at the top of the D. Over to Jones. Jones able to squirt it out to the sideline. Served across the middle. And Texas Tech pushes it out ahead. Over the halfway line.
Well done,
Griffin giving chase.
Big time.
Woodard. Woodard.
Charlotte.
Out to Yoakum, out to the left flank. Oklahoma State trying to mount something here and crosses all the way over everybody as, I believe that's Jones chasing it down. Jones with the cross and the save. Now saving in play, it did not go over the inline. Zucchetto able to knock it away.
That is such a card!
That's the definition of a
That
dive.
is a complete dive!
Griffin pushing it out to Lydiot.
He's gonna carry that standard. Come on, man.
Will Texas Tech take their time and possess here in the last 13 minutes with the one-goal lead?
You to show for that ball. Rookie, bigger! Damn it, you did it again. Charlotte, we don't want it there.
Jessica, how do you think Texas Tech is likely to handle this? As they have an opportunity for Davis at the end of a run, she tries to chase it down. But let's look back first at the defense by Texas Tech.
I think it's continuing to have tough defensive shape here, which you can see just lots of red jerseys in this box that if you're just going to send one across the face of the box, it's going to be really hard to get a foot on it because there's just so many bodies in a red jersey in that box. So I think Oklahoma State needs to be a little bit more creative and dynamic in and around that box instead of sending these hopeful crosses in across Zucchetto.
Big Brook, Big Brook. Well, I said Big Brook!
Make a play!
Together! What is she doing that for?
And the crowd wants to see the foul called against J.C. Jones. Jones was kind of roughed up there.
They call this extracurricular activities off the ball here as players start getting handsy.
Ooh. And so a free kick is the result for the Cowgirls. Kim Rodriguez. 11:50 to go here in the second half. Rodriguez sends it to the top of the 18. It's headed. The Cowgirls still have it. Woodard, though, it gets away from her right at the feet of the Red Raiders, and they're able to clear it out, but a throw in on the side. Header just wide for Oklahoma State. Allie Jackson heading back.
11 minutes. Underneath to Charlotte for the 10th time. Come on, Red. Dig in. Sideways, sideways, sideways. Win the ball.
Well, it looks like here's Kim Rodriguez pushed up really high out of the back now for Oklahoma State. She's the one that sent in that set piece.
Right.
The assist leader on the team. And Coach Colin Carmichael knows that she has the ability to play in that midfield position as well. So hoping for a late goal here in the game, he's pushed her forward to kind of help out on offense.
We need you.
Kim Rodriguez was the player that scored the first goal when this new stadium was opened this year.
Get across, Shaw. Get across,
Can she get a little of that magic back to equalize this match?
Stop.
10 minutes to play in the game. Texas Tech up 1-0, and a substitution for the Cowgirls. Number 24, Claire Ganser, coming in to replace Grace Neville.
Or you might be the other holding that.
Woodard going to get a lot of attention from the Red Raider defense. Giving chase on the left side, just outside the box. The Cowgirls need a good look here.
Give us a little bit.
The cross, headed out. The chase. That hopeful cross you were talking about.
Yeah, I think just trying to pick someone out a bit more. And look at all those red jerseys. You have 3 in front of Woodard there and 1 behind her. So instead, maybe swinging it across and trying to thread some spaces to get someone just a clear shot on goal.
Gabby Puente, number 18, coming into the game, replacing her sister, her twin sister, Gwenny Puente. And it will be a throw-in for the Cowgirls. Reversing the side of the field. Under 8.5 minutes to play. Texas Tech looking for their second win in Big 12 play. To Woodard. Woodard in the middle of a lot of defenders. Going to clear it, and then a big swing. Not on the mark, but Oklahoma State retains possession. And good defense there by the Red Raiders.
So and there's Rodriguez pushed up a little bit out of position, trying to help out, but you saw again the defense just not allowing a clear shot. There's this red wall in that box, a lot of blocked shots. And they added Gabby Puente in for her sister Gwenny because Gabby's a little bit more of a defensive personality, and so she's going to help defend a bit more. And so Texas Tech is really trying to close this out with more of a defensive presence here in the final 7.5 minutes.
Cowgirls take it to the right. Good defense, but it will result in a corner kick.
So Teeter just sticks with her and makes sure that she doesn't get a cross off.
Corner kick opportunity here for the Cowgirls. Just under 7 minutes to play. The cross headed away. And again, an empty attempt for the Cowgirls.
Go.
Ali, good.
Go, fast, go. Don't be emotional.
And a substitution.
Is that another dive on my kid?
Come on,
And game number
He got knocked to the ground.
number 7, Lisa Griffin.
Awesome.
Griffin out, and she is replaced by Alyssa DeLuise. Remember, Griffin did not play in this game until well into the second period, but then she added that dynamic to the scoring ability between her and King. King fed her the ball. She received a foul and scored the penalty kick, Allie Griffin. And now she steps out of the game on the sideline. Looks like she's being attended to by the medical personnel for the Red Raiders. Cowgirls down 1-0.
Check your ball. Hands down. Next way. Next phase.
Cowgirls playing the entire second period without Marlo Zoller, who was injured in the first period.
Come on, Katie.
Check, Carl.
And are we likely to see any different types of attack from Oklahoma State trying to equalize this game?
Well, it doesn't look like it. I think they're just trying to push more numbers forward. So you see players are really sitting more on that Texas Tech back line instead of Woodard being all by herself up there. So Rodriguez especially has the freedom, and she's roaming around trying to just stay up top and try and keep the ball up top. So they're just kind of flying more numbers forward. But so far, this crossing and hoping has been pretty ineffective. So they might need to figure out a more creative way to combine and get the ball in behind.
And when we had a chance to talk to Colin Carmichael, the head coach for Oklahoma State, in our conference call this week, he wanted, whenever Oklahoma State got possession, to attack quickly. Do you think that you've seen that employed during the course of this game?
I really don't see them having played like they said they were going to, which is we're going to kind of sit in, win the ball, and then counter quickly, get the ball quickly. They have been trying to find Woodard quickly, but it's been a lot of long balls, and the result of that is too much space between Woodard and the midfield. And so unless Woodard is only being marked by 1 or 2 people, then she doesn't really have a lot of help. And she's been marked by, it seems like, the entire Texas Tech back line the entire game.
And here they are again, 3 around Woodard. Yoakum, the freshman, chases it down, changes directions. Nifty footwork to keep it alive. Pushes ahead to the right side. Teeter there with good defense again and gets it right in the face. But a corner kick for Oklahoma State. Under 3.5 minutes to go here. Desperation time for the Cowgirls. The cross to the front and over the crossbar. Good help defense by Texas Tech, but it will be another corner kick for the Cowgirls. Got popped out. Here comes the next cross. A header. No! Boy, that looked like it could go. Very fortunate for Texas Tech that Oklahoma State did not tie it up with that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this didn't go back towards goal, except that Zucchetto was right there with their paws big in the face of Oklahoma State, trying to deflect that back toward goal.
Stay Oklahoma State possession with 2.5 minutes to go. Woodard. Do you want Woodard out here, or do you want her in front of the goal?
Well, I like Woodard out here. Zoller's in the middle, but of course we lost her to injury, and you see Grace Yoakum has pushed up and tried to help out in the box, and Yoakum's done really well actually pushing forward all through the year. So sometimes Woodard can be a good playmaker on the side. It's just the problem is they're so tight on these players on the flanks right now. They're just not getting any good crosses into the box.
Under 2 minutes, Oklahoma State down by 1 on their home field.
Jesse Hyatt! Get in here! Big throw, big throw. Big throw to KD, big throw to KD. Keep it there! Keep it there, Kristen!
Come on, Danny, go!
Go on, KD! Jane, drop! Duke, where you going?
Oklahoma State has not lost here at home in their new stadium yet. They tied to Texas. Their only other, or their 2 losses on the season were at Illinois on August 31st and at Oklahoma. Texas Tech may be giving Oklahoma State its first loss in Neil Patterson Stadium. Davis chasing it down, and boy, what a difference the insertion of Allie Griffin into the game made for Texas Tech. It changed the tempo, it changed the attack mode, and she ended up scoring the go-ahead, the only goal of the game tonight.
Go, Kersey!
Yeah, Allie Griffin, I thought, was a big loss if they couldn't get her some minutes tonight. And they were able to get her in, and kind of a crucial time when, again, the tempo had kind of relaxed a little bit. They brought her in, and it just kind of reinvigorated that Texas Tech squad. Really picked up Jade King's game as well, and she slipped Allie Griffin through with just a great ball. And Griffin had that fantastic touch around Greenlee, and of course was taken out afterwards, but deserved that chance, that opportunity. That was the best opportunity of the game.
And the Red Raiders come in with the victory. Their first in 6 tries against Oklahoma State. The first loss for Oklahoma State here in their new stadium. The Red Raiders pick up their 2nd win in Big 12 Conference play. They move to 10-3-1 on the year. And they bounce back from their loss to Baylor last Sunday with a big win. We'll take a quick break and come back and wrap it up after this. Texas Tech with the 1-0 victory over the hometown Oklahoma State Cowgirls.